So I tried getting this next guest on this podcast since the beginning. Now, 99 episodes later, he's here. I met Jordan Hembrough many years ago, maybe like 20 years ago. And we talk about that in this conversation. Jordan worked at a local comic and sci-fi collectible store known as Starlog. And later on, he made his own toy and collectible business, which then led to a television reality show known as Toy Hunter, which you may have seen on Travel Channel, which you might have seen my face on there too. And I'm really excited that I finally got this guy on the show. A lot of people have been asking for him to be on this show as a guest, and it happened. Hashtag it happened. Here's me showing up at his store in Westwood, New Jersey, and this is the conversation that we had.
It's great. How do you like the store, man?
It's cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
This is called the store that kicked my ass during New York Comic Con because we pulled the entire thing apart and then we just got it back together again, barely.
Really?
Yeah.
So what did you shut down for a few days? Or
We did. We actually shut down for the entire week. We started packing last Saturday, the Saturday before New York Comic Con.
Okay.
And we started loading in the following Tuesday, and then we were down Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Came back and unpacked on Monday. That following Tuesday, now it's an entire week now. Then like everybody got sick. It was just weird. It's like the flu or just the madness of New York Comic Con.
Did you get a flu shot?
I did.
Okay.
I just got one because I was like on my deathbed.
Yeah.
It was everything you thought it was going to be. Like I was on my deathbed, drooling, going, oh.
Yeah.
And then I realized New York Comic Con. That's what it was. It did me in, but we had a good one. It was great.
Yeah, I hate being like really sick. I've like even said like maybe this is dying. Like maybe this is it. Maybe there's something worse than just the flu.
Yeah, I don't mind being sick. I don't mind being sick per se because having a little sniffle and going people take care of me is one thing. But with this whole thing going around with. I know I'm going to say it. I hate saying it, but this whole thing going around with Ebola, and then normally I'd be like, oh, I got nothing to worry about. I'm not going to Liberia.
Yeah.
But then like someone so like graciously pointed out to me, they're like, well, Jordan, you kind of shook hands with 2,000 people from 12 different countries at New York Comic Con. I'm like,
wow.
Yeah. I kind of did. So now I'm like replaying all of Comic Con in my head, and I'm going, okay, I saw people from England. I saw people from Scotland. I saw people from Iceland. Did I see anybody from Sierra Leone? Did I see anybody from, I don't know. Did I see anybody from Liberia? I don't know. I could have. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I feel better now.
So I guess I want to talk to you about just like quickly about your ventures outside of this store.
Yeah. Let's talk about
maybe
that.
how we know each other.
We've known each other forever. It does seem like forever.
Yeah, maybe 20 years.
Yeah, it's got to be 20 years.
Yeah.
It's got to be 20 years.
So you used to work in Ridgewood, right?
Yeah.
At a place called Starlog.
Starlog, the comic and science fiction universe. This is where you're supposed to have like a nice reverb. It's like Starlog, the comic and science fiction universe.
Yeah, they would definitely have that.
And Starlog, Starlog started as a magazine back in the 80s and actually the late 70s. People ask me, they're like, well, Starlog, never heard of that. What is it? What was it about? And I try to tell them that like Starlog was to science fiction what like Newsweek was to politics. I mean, everything that was happening with sci-fi or horror or anything, was in Starlog. And it was this monthly mag that people just couldn't get enough of.
And it was also a store.
It was a store.
Probably like, I'm thinking back on it now as like a retail standpoint, like it had so many different things in it.
It did.
It was packed with stuff, right?
It did. It was the comic and science fiction universe.
It was like, I guess similar to like what Hot Topic is now, right? Like,
or Hollywood Heroes.
Oh, your store?
I'm going to give my store a plug. It's funny.
That's where you quickly say the address of the place.
It is. It's just like Hollywood Heroes at 7 Bergen Ave, Westwood, New Jersey.
You got to get that down a little bit faster.
It's just like Hollywood Heroes, 7 Bergen Ave, Westwood, New Jersey. Open every Friday and Saturday, 1 to 6. Now, the funny thing is Norm Norm Jacobs, the founder of Starlog, he used to sell advertisements in the back of the magazine.
Okay.
So like, Don Postmass Company would buy an advertisement, and then he'd handle all the mail order. And then all these companies, these model companies and trading card companies were all selling the hell out of the back of his magazine. So finally he's like, I'm just going to open a store and sell this myself.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did. And it was gangbusters. So I can tell you the cool thing is back then when we had that store, we opened in 1990, 1991. It was the first place ever that you could go and actually buy vintage toys. They didn't have vintage toy stores around on a big scale where you can go and buy Star Wars and Star Trek.
Now, was that your intro into this world, or was there something before that?
My intro into buying and selling toys?
Yeah.
Well, I was a huge geek and dweeb ever since I was a kid, buying Star Wars figures and actually trading them on a schoolyard and everything like that. But, when I got to be about 16, I went to my first toy show and I started selling toys. When I was 16, I sold all my old toys.
Okay.
And I made some money, which was great. My dad liked that. And my dad would drive me around. I'd be this little kid and dad would be driving me around. And it was great. And then when I went to Starlog, I'm just like, I've died and gone to heaven. It was fantastic. So I was going to college and I just sort of hung around there.
So you heard about this job and then...
I heard about the job. They approached me and they're like, you out of college yet? And I'm like, yeah. I said, I'm graduating this semester. I wasn't. I actually had another year to go.
Okay.
They're like, yeah, I'm done. And said, well, we're thinking about franchising, around the country. I'm like, I'm your man. I said, I'm your man. So what happened is I finished off that one semester and I didn't go back. I didn't go back to college. I went to work at Starlog. And I told him, I'm like, I graduated, not a problem. I got my degree in marketing, which is, it would have been marketing and theater. And then I just started at Starlog as the corporate buyer.
Wow.
And just steamrolled into that. and then you walked in one day. That's how I met you.
Yeah. But you guys had it was pretty, it was cool, I thought. They
Starlog
had
was great.
Yeah.
You know what? Starlog was fantastic because it was really before the internet.
I think I was in the commercial with my dad.
You were in the commercial with your dad. Yeah. Your dad.
Now I'm thinking about it. These things are coming up.
Yeah, for cable. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great because, it was really cool because, it was before the advent of the internet where, you would chat online on a forum or something like that all day. People would meet at the store. And they just hang out for a few hours, They'd hang out for 2 or 3 hours and meet friends and buy stuff and buy some trading cards or whatever. We had pinball machines. They'd play pinball machines for a long time. It was great. It was the place to be. Wow. And I remember people saying, what are you doing today? I'm going to go hang out at Starlog for a couple hours. I'm like, all right. It was awesome.
And I remember when you guys were shutting down, you gave me a Power Ranger set.
Yeah.
It was the gun.
The gun that
they used to have, the laser gun.
All the components turned into the gun. It was a cool piece.
No, it wasn't that one. All the components. It was their red gun that they would always have on their side, but they would never use it.
Do you still have it?
So yeah, probably.
Is it in the box?
No,
you took it out.
So.
Oh man! All right, it's fine. It's okay. You had fun with it. You played with it.
You're like, can you bring it in?
Can you bring it in? What do you want on that? It was great. I mean, I've tried to replicate that feeling here at Hollywood Heroes.
Yeah.
Because, I've got the big, giant, comfy chairs, and people do. They come and sit. I'm actually thinking about throwing a couch in here, too, just so people have a lounge area to sit and talk. People keep begging me to bring in, magazines and stuff like that. But then you really do become a reading room, and I don't want people hanging out here all day reading.
Yeah.
I'm toying with the idea of maybe even putting in a pinball machine or two because someone's come up to me and said, we have vintage pinball machines. I think that would be really, really cool.
That would be.
To the ambiance of the store.
I feel like they would take up a lot of room though, don't they?
They would. I'd actually stick them in the front a little bit. I'd stick them in them in the corner, maybe take down a wall and stick them in the corner. The one problem is then you've got people coming in playing pinball all day and it becomes an arcade because when you got four or five guys hanging around, what do these other four guys do when they're taking their turn? They go around and they shoplift. You got to make sure they don't. So we'll figure it out. I got some things on tap for the store, which you'll absolutely be involved with. So we're
cool.
I'm looking at doing some VIP night where we can get some very special people in here and shut the store down, have invite only, maybe just have it all catered and just chill out.
Like Zach Ryder, you're gonna have him come in.
Zach, I can have Zach. I mean, the funny thing is, I ran into Zach over at New York Comic Con. He's like, "What's up, man?" He's like, "I gotta get back over to the store." I'm like, "Let me know when you want to come," because now he told me he's like he has all these friends who are wrestlers, who saw him on the episode, and they all collect toys. So I'm actually thinking I might have a night where I just have Zach and all his guys come down. We'll shut the store down. And I'll invite some friends, and you'll be there, of course. And you do a live podcast and everything with all the guys, and we'll have music and catered food. It'll just be a great time to hang out and just talk toys all night.
Talk toys.
Talk toys. It'd be awesome.
Maybe that's your podcast.
That is. There you go. Well, I could be like a little sublet of you.
I've had a few spinoffs.
Have you?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your other spinoff?
There's a guy on here that's been on here multiple times. His name's Francesco.
Okay.
He's like a aspiring stand-up comic. He's a stand-up comic.
Okay, I was going to say Francesco Ronaldo. That's the spaghetti sauce.
Palladino.
Francesco Palladino.
There you go.
Let me guess. Italian?
I think so.
Okay.
Or French.
Paisan? Yeah.
And then there's also like this guy. I did like a podcast with him for a while at UCB.
Right.
Like, stand-up. Like, not stand-up, but improv and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So those came out from that.
That's fantastic. All right, so you really are. You're like a star maker.
I'm a star maker.
Okay.
No. I think the internet word is curator.
Are you a curator?
Yeah.
I would do a podcast if I thought anybody would actually take the time to sit down on their ass and listen to me for however long I would talk.
I think they would.
I don't think anybody would.
I think they would.
I
just think it's a very saturated market right now.
It is. It's extremely saturated market.
Here's another problem with it. There's no lily pad effect where it comes to like, when you watch a YouTube video.
Yeah.
You click on the next YouTube video that's on the side or that comes up in the box. There's nothing like that with podcasts. Like it's mostly word of mouth. So it's very old school when it comes to like, hey, did you ever hear that? No, I never heard of that, but you should listen to it. That's how I find out about podcasts.
Yeah.
You
know who's got it down? I got to tell you, my friend Ralph Garman. Ralph Garman and Kevin Smith do Hollywood Babylon.
Okay.
They do it live. They do it live at the Improv. They do the podcast live at the Improv.
Wow.
And people sit and they just watch them.
Yeah, that's what I really want to do.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
That would be cool because that's a show right there. I mean, you sit there, you're watching them.
Haven't done that yet.
You're watching guys talk.
Yeah. All right. So back to you. So all this time went by. Where were you? I kind of didn't know where you went, but
I was at Starlog. I was at Starlog, and after Starlog, I bounced over. I worked a little bit at Planet Hollywood. I was a prop buyer for Planet Hollywood.
In the city?
No. I was down in Orlando at the corporate office in Orlando.
Okay.
And I bounced around there, and I was one of the guys that went around and helped buy and pick out some of the props over at Planet Hollywood.
Yeah.
And then, and then what I did is I said, I'm tired of working for other people. I'm just going to do this all on my own. When Starlog shut down, being the buyer of the company, I essentially had all the collectibles inventory just sent over to the warehouse in New Jersey. And during the liquidation sale, I bought it all, like at 10 cents on the dollar. So I had this tremendous inventory. So I says, all right, I'm gonna start my own business. And I started doing Hollywood Heroes. And it's just been a steamroller, ever since then. Started working with all the employees that worked at toy companies and all the people that I knew through Starlog. I still had some of their numbers, these sales reps. And I said, I'm not working there anymore. And they're like, oh, okay, well, I'm retired from Kenner. I'm retired from Mattel. I have all my stuff. Can you help me sell it?
Yeah.
And that's really how I got my niche into this world of, selling all the prototypes and the salesman samples and all that type of stuff, which was great.
And then you had this idea to put it on television?
Then I had this idea. Well, yeah, the funny thing is I came across a good friend of mine named Dustin Parry, and Dustin is on a show called Ghost Hunters. And he does.
I've met him.
Yeah, he's great. He's a very dear friend of mine. And Dustin and I had an idea because we wanted to do a show together, and I came up with it. I was the creator and I was the producer, and it was called Paranormal Highway, and we teamed up with another director friend of mine and producer, and the show didn't go anywhere, but we never really got it off the ground, but the producer and I, the other EP, connected, and we developed a show around people who have this like passion for collecting toys or whatever. So we started shopping a show called Amazing Collections, and actually your dad was very, very crucial to help me do that. Your dad cut the sizzle reel. Your dad would I'd go over to the Bat Cave, which is your dad's house, and we'd spend hours and hours and hours cutting this sizzle reel. And we were shopping in LA when I got a call from someone in New York, and they're like, we're doing this show about guys that go around look for toys and everything. And I'm like, oh, okay. Is this the one I'm shopping in LA? And they're like, no, this is a brand new one. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I went in and met for that one, and it turned into Toy Hunter. And that's what it was. And we had 3 absolutely incredible seasons around the world.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But alas, all good things come to an end. So we are not doing Toy Hunter anymore.
To answer, like, I feel like every time you post anything,
everyone's like, "Hey, great!
Hey, next season?
Next season?
Question mark?
When's it coming?" Yeah. Okay. Well, so look, I'll put everything to rest right now. You know what it was is, we had 3 absolutely incredible seasons of Toy Hunter, and me and Steve, my good friend who just walked in, there he is, who just walked in, and what happened is after all that. After all that, people started coming to Steve and I going, well, they want to make changes. They wanted to make a lot of changes. Like, we want to send you overseas for, 3 weeks, and we're not going to pay you as much. And they wanted to start faking a lot more. And Steve and I talked about it, and we just weren't happy. And, and the network was going in a brand new direction with travel. And they're like, well, we're not going to do any advertising this season. Season 3 was our highest season yet. I mean, season 3 for Toy Hunter, we were rated higher than a lot of the shows on the network. So
the episode I was in wasn't the highest rated episode?
That was the second highest.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank
God. The series was one of the highest rated series on the network. I mean, we were beating all these other shows that were travel based, and the network just didn't know what to do with it. And they're like, well, we need to focus more on traveling, and Toy Hunter's really not traveling. So it was sort of like they were unhappy, Steve and I were unhappy, so we kind of both parted ways. Yeah. So we're gonna
because that's usually my joke. If you recognize me, I'm from the highest rated episode of the highest rated show on Travel Channel.
Of Toy Hunter. That's how people recognize you, right? Yeah. People still think Steve's the guy from American Pickers because he looks just like, or a wrestler because he looks just like
a wrestler.
Yeah. Well, people think he's a wrestler all the time. What do you look like? Kevin Sullivan. There you go, Steve.
Oh, totally.
For those who
you have a more friendlier face though.
Yeah. For people who are not out.
He's
there
like a Satanist.
Steve just walked in. Yeah. Steve looks like Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah.
That's why Steve does all the wrestling shows now. Steve makes tons of money as Kevin Sullivan.
Just
he signs everything. He's going to be with He's
going to be there.
Sullivan. Yeah. He takes him out now. Steve's like a wrestling promoter now. Wow. And he's got his own show, Steve's Crazy Toy World.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's his own podcast. So he does.
Oh, you do a podcast?
Steve does a podcast called Steve's Crazy Toy World.
All right.
I didn't do it because I'm your boy. And I'm sort of like your...
Oh, so you were waiting.
I'm not
to do his. So you were doing mine first. You said
I'm doing yours. I haven't done Steve's yet. I haven't even done Steve's yet because we don't do them at the same time. But I knew that I was your podcast bitch.
Okay,
so I'm going to do you.
Yeah,
because I know you and I've talked forever. But Steve's got his own. Steve's like his own host. He's like Steve's Crazy Toy World.
Yeah, I kind of had to ambush Jordan today. I had brought in the bag.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, we're going to do this. He's like, wait, we're going to do the podcast now?
We're doing it now?
Yes.
And he goes, yeah.
Said,
I'm
yes.
like, okay. And I'm like still getting over the flu and everything. I don't even have my singing voice and everything. So all your stuff's right there, by the way, in the blue tub. I bought Steve a big Coke collection this weekend.
Nice.
A guy walked in with a Coca-Cola collection. It wasn't for me, but it was the bottom one.
Coke?
Yeah. Shut up. I was like, I think Steve would like this. So Steve's like a jack of all trades.
Yeah. Cokehead.
He's a cokehead. He is a cokehead. Yeah, sort of, a little bit. So how was your New York Comic-Con experience?
So I put it this way. I was in there for 4 hours.
It's great.
And that was enough.
Yeah.
That's enough for me.
I was there for 5 days, and that was enough.
Okay.
I had a great time, though. It was cool.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I will say one thing. The one thing that Steve and I can say about Toy Hunter is it's amazing the lasting impression that is given to, like, families, because we got people come up, we have people coming up to us all the time saying, I watched it with your family, I watched the show with my family.
Because was this the first year kind of where... No, it wasn't, because you've been on for a few years now.
We've been on 3 years. Toy Hunter's overseas now.
Did you feel like this year was like the year where people actually came up to you and were like, noticed like they knew who you were and stuff like that?
Yeah, because season 3 went and filmed in Mexico. We went and filmed in London, and like people recognized us on the streets of Mexico. People recognized us on the streets of London.
Okay.
People, stopped Steve. They stopped me. They stopped Dave Gall and all the other people. I mean, they really recognized. They really recognized us. they recognized the show and everything.
Yeah.
Which was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I brought 2 people with me that I usually go to the NAMM show with.
Yeah.
Matt and Javier. And I was like, NAMM show? Yeah. Like, because that's usually very busy.
I want to go to the NAMM show.
No, you don't. It's like calm compared to Comic-Con.
Yeah.
They were just like, what? Why is there so many people here? Like, this is nuts.
Yeah, it was I think they said now, like, this year was actually bigger than New York Comic-Con. Bigger than San Diego.
Yeah.
It's like 170,000.
Which will say something to them, because like, don't they usually like hold back on the panels and stuff like that?
Yeah. I hope
Yeah.
they have one. Next year, Steve and I'll do a panel called "What the Fuck Happened to Toy Hunter." He's nodding. He's like, "Yes, we will."
Yeah. Special guest Kevin Sullivan. Somehow he'll make his way into it.
Yeah, and Steve will do it.
Yeah. So what else? What's next for you?
I've got a lot going on. I don't know. I mean, there's all new stuff going on. I don't know. I'm just trying to branch out. You know, I did some stuff for CNN. I did some stuff at the show for CNN about pop culture.
So you've done like a lot of like Good Morning shows.
Yeah, I did. I did a lot of. I've done a lot of TV. Who knows? I mean, you know, right now I'm just taking a break and looking at all the options. I know people always say that, but like I really am.
Yeah.
And I'm just concentrating on getting the store off the ground and everything like that, because now we're actually open for the public and Christmas is coming up, so we can just go forward.
So you're just open 2 days a week?
We are. You think I should do more? You think I should do
Definitely.
more? I'll do more. All right, maybe 3. I'll do more. But those 2 days
You
a
should
week,
maybe be how like a barber shop is, or like a salon. Like they're closed on Mondays.
and then just open the rest of the week.
Yeah.
I guess so. I guess I could do that.
Something weird like that. That's what you need.
I could do that. And
like
then
you're closed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but you're open the rest of the week.
Maybe I should do that. Like a barber's. Okay, I can.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I'll have a checkerboard in the corner where 2 old men can sit there and fight and talk about that. Ah, my ass is killing me. Oh, and just like push checkers around all day. They'll
Exactly.
Just sit there.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Great.
All right. Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for talking to me.
You gonna have me on
anything
again?
else you want to talk about? You want to?
No, just you know, everyone watching the show, you know, everyone listening to this great podcast, you know, you got any old toys? We're always buying the old toys.
Yeah.
Stop in Hollywood Heroes.
So that's a question you get a lot. You know, like, hey, I got this. You know, what's the best way to contact you?
You can. The best absolute way is contact me through email.
Okay.
Jordan@HollywoodHeroes.com or sales@HollywoodHeroes.com. Follow me on Twitter @Jordan Hembrough. Follow me through Facebook @Jordan Hembrough. And, you know, stop in the store now. Steve and I are here, which is great because you can actually...
This is a beautiful town. So I lived here for like a hot second, but it's like a hidden gem of Bergen County.
It is.
It really is. It's way better than Ridgewood, and they're doing it way better than Ridgewood.
It's right out of... And in the holidays, it's beautiful. It's right out of like Courier and Ives. It's all beautiful and everything like that.
All right. Well, thank you, man.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Awesome. And I'll see you again. Look, look, we're shaking. No one even knows.
Are we shaking?
We're shaking. I'm actually shaking.
There we go. There we go.
you.
That's the handshake. Goodbye.
You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, just remember what your old pal said. Yeah, you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me.
You're listening to Pop Cultivation.